questioning anybody's coaching decision. I understand how difficult it is to be a coach. I'm a coach. I coach debate and speech, and I have to sometimes decide who gets to go and who doesn't. But, like I said, I'm not questioning the coach. But by the end of the third quarter, I was on my feet. Puck number 85 into the game! And the game ended, and number 85 didn't make it into the game. I remember standing outside on hall duty on Monday, and here he came down the hall. And I said, "You guys sure played a great game." He said, "Yeah." He says, "I can't believe that I'm that bad. You put me in the game that I had blown the 20-point lead." What did he learn? What did he learn? He learned that despite the fact he'd been to every practice and had spent as much time in the weight room as anybody else, that somebody didn't trust his ability enough to put him in the game. And school teaches kids lots of things like that. I'm in class teaching and there's a knock at the door. My world literature class. These are those college-bound prep students I'm telling you about, and there's one girl that's missing, and I go outside, and there she is. Tears streaming down her face. She says, "Mr. Dowd," she says, "I have to talk to you." Well, I'm right in the middle of class. What do I do? I've learned enough over the years not to turn my back on a legitimate cry for help. And I go out with the young girl, and we walk down the hall, and she starts telling me about how she just can't take it anymore, but her stepfather's been visiting her room. And she finally got up enough courage to tell her mother. And her mom said, "Well, I'll talk to him about it, honey, but don't tell anybody." And all of a sudden, the lesson on Dante's Inferno or Cyrano de Bergerac, it kind of wanes in significance when you got kids that are walking out the door and going home and starting the car up in the garage. And you run into these kids, and so many of them seemingly have such obnoxious qualities. And I've come to believe with my whole heart that obnoxious qualities in kids, or in people for that matter, are really just cries for help. Like this one girl, my first year as a teacher. Here I am, I'm teaching contemporary short story, and I want these kids to learn everything I just learned in college. And I found out that, And I found out that there were some kids that weren't all that interested in Faulkner's Yoknapoatock County. I couldn't believe it. And there were some kids that weren't that interested in Flannery O'Connor, Southern Gothic style. And there was this, you see, I gave journal assignments, made the kids write in their journal every day, and then I'd correct them. And there was this one girl, she never wrote anything in her journal. Maybe a line here, she's failing. I sent home the referral notices, hoping her parents would get them and give her a good swift kick and motivate her, and she'd come back to class all excited to learn. And the truth is, all it did was alienate me more from her. So one Friday, I walked into class, and I said, "Today, I want you to write whatever you want to write in your journal. You have all hour to write it." See, I had to get ready for a test the next hour. And I said, the only requirement is that you spend all hour writing. Now, I'm not going to grade these, but if you want to get a mid-trimester grade, you have to do it. So I collected the journals at the end of the hour, went to Taco Town that night and had some spaghetti and chicken, went to the football game, went home, started to read journals. All of a sudden, I pulled out this journal, this girl's, the one that wasn't writing anything. All of a sudden, here was page after page filled. And she started in, she said, "Dear Mr. Dowd, I know you don't like me because I'm dumb. But I'm not as dumb as you think I am. You see, last summer, I had an abortion. And then she went on and explained how she was in love with this guy. And she wanted to get married, but her folks wouldn't let her. And then the abortion, and they wouldn't allow her to see her boyfriend. And he moved out of state. And she tried running away from home, and they took her and they put her in a juvenile facility. And here all of a sudden she's writing in her journal. And I'm sitting at home on a Friday night with a bowl of butterbrickle melting, reading this. And she says, if I can't be with my boyfriend, I'd just as soon be dead. And she started listing all the means and methods that she'd considered using for taking her own life. And it hit me. What am I doing as a teacher? What am I doing as a human being? What am I doing as a Christian? Isn't there something even more basic than reading and writing and arithmetic? Isn't there something even more basic than computer literacy? Why do we teach kids anyhow? So that they might get lucky and get on Jeopardy? Maybe they'll enter a Trivial Pursuit contest and win. Why? I was reminded of a poster that a friend of mine had in college of an old bum in the gutter, a drunken bum, pathetic looking, disheveled, unkempt, empty whiskey bottle by his side. And the poster read, you love Jesus Christ only as much as the person you love the least. You love Jesus Christ only as much as the person you love the least. This here is Sean's desk. He's going to see his mom for the first time in 9 years. And I wish that was the exception. But statistically, we're now told that as many as 39% of all the kids in America live in single-parent families. Not that single-parent families can't be functional. Often they're a better alternative than an abusive situation. But I still believe what God intended was for a mom and a dad to commit themselves to God, to make God the very center of their relationship in their family, and then to commit themselves to their children forever and ever. And I don't think we've begun to realize the price that our nation and our society is going to have to pay for mortgaging the souls of our children. Kids like Sean. If you didn't know Sean, you could think that maybe he was kind of obnoxious, aloof. And so, you know what I've started doing as a teacher? I get to school early, and I go find those desks of those kids that I was having trouble with, that I can't reach, or not feeling comfortable communicating with that student, and I'd sit in their desk. And then I'd pray for them. Because, you know, the truth of the matter is that Sean could be Jesus. And so when Sean comes into my classroom, I can never think of him again in the same way. Because he could be Jesus.